Muhammad Ali Jinnah, also known as quaid azam, means great leader, was an Indian Muslim politician. He was the founder of Muslim state in India named Pakistan. He was also the first Governor-General of Pakistan. Jinnah was born on December 25, 1876, in Karachi, now the part of Pakistan. He was born in a rented apartment on the second floor of Wazir Mansion in Karachi. Jinnah's father, Punja Jinnah, was a merchant and exporter of cotton, wool, grain, and range of other goods at that time. Jinnah was the eldest of his parents' 7 children. His mother's name was Mithabai. After being taught at home, Jinnah was sent to the Sindh Madrasa al-Islam, now Sindh Madrasat al-Islam University, in 1887 in Karachi. Later, he enrolled at the Christian Missionary Society High School, also in Karachi, where he matriculated at the age of 16. Jinnah grew to admire Sir Frederick Lee Croft, the business associate of his father. His father decided to send him to England to gain business experience after consulting an English friend. But Jinnah was certain that he wanted to become a lawyer. Before he traveled for England, his parents planned for an early marriage for him in accordance with the custom of the time. In London he joined Lincoln's Inn, one of the legal societies that prepared students for the bar. In 1895, at the age of 19, he was called to the bar. Unfortunately, Emmy Bai, his wife, died a few months after Jinnah's departure. Devastatingly, Jinnah's mother, Mithabai, also passed away during his stay in London. Jinnah met with a Ratanbai while his political career was flourishing. On April 19, 1918, they were married after she embraced Islam. Jinnah's sole child, a daughter named Dina, was born in 1919. Jinnah finished his formal education and began to learn about the British political system by routinely attending the House of Commons. During his visits, he had developed a growing interest in politics, deeming it a more glamorous field than law. Jinnah was also very interested in Indian politics. Jinnah began his legal career in Bombay, now Mumbai, when he returned to Karachi in 1896, but it took him years of hard effort to establish himself as a lawyer. Jinnah went to a meeting of the Indian National Congress in 1904. He himself joined the Congress in 1906. He met prominent Congress Party figures like Gopal Krishna Gokhale in Bombay, along with other notable Maratha leaders. In the beginning of his political career, Jinnah, who was greatly influenced by such nationalist figures, hoped to become a Muslim Gokhale. Jinnah's endeavors to bring about the political union of Hindus and Muslims earned him the title of the Best Ambassador of Hindu-Muslim Unity. Jinnah initially worked with Hindu leaders as their ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity while also collaborating with the Muslim League as a member of Congress. Jinnah gradually came to understand that the Hindu Congress leaders had different political. He had previously sided with their opposition to separate electorates that would have ensured a set proportion of Muslims and Hindus in the legislature. However, Jinnah changed his mind in 1926 and started to advocate separate electorates. But ultimately, he still held on to the conviction that a unified India could uphold Muslim rights. Meanwhile, Mohandas, Mahatma, Gandhi had emerged as a new political force in India. He had gained control of both the Congress Party and the Home Rule League. Jinnah left the League and the Congress Party in 1920 due to his opposition to Gandhi's non-cooperation movement and his primarily Hindu style of politics. He distanced himself from the major political movements for a period of time. He persisted in supporting constitutional means of achieving political aims and Hindu-Muslim harmony. He utilized the Muslim League as a platform to spread his ideas after leaving the Congress. The poet and philosopher Sir Allama Muhammad Iqbal, also known as the Poet of the East, proposed the idea of Pakistan's creation to the Muslim League Conference in 1930. Jinnah was initially skeptical of the idea, but he soon came to believe that a Muslim homeland on the Indian subcontinent was the only way to protect Muslim interests and the Muslim way of life. He was more afraid of Muslims being excluded from all opportunities for growth within India once control was vested in the close-knit Hindu social organization than he was of religious persecution. He launched a national effort to warn his fellow Muslims about the dangers of their position in order to protect against that threat, and he transformed the Muslim League into a potent tool for bringing Muslims together under one organization. At that point, Jinnah emerged as the leader of a renascent Muslim nation. In the late 1920s and early 1930s, Jinnah's main goal was to effectuate this rapprochement. He pursued this goal within the Legislative Assembly, at the Round Table Conference in London, and through his 14 points, which included calls for a federal system of government, expanded rights for minorities, a one-third representation for Muslims in the central legislature, the division of the largely Muslim Sindh region from the rest of Bombay province, and the introduction of reforms in the Northwest Frontier province. The Government of India Act of 1935's elections were soon in the planning stages. Jinnah was still considering working with coalition governments in the provinces as well as collaborating with the Muslim League and the Hindu-controlled Congress Party. But the 1937 elections ended up being a turning point in the interactions between the two groups. In 6 provinces, Congress won an absolute majority, and the League fared poorly. Exclusive all-Congress governments were the consequence of the Congress Party's decision to exclude the League from the process of creating provincial administrations. Hindu-Muslim relations began to deteriorate, and Muslim resentment soon spread like wildfire. Things started to move quickly. In Lahore on March 22 to 23, 1940, the League decided to create Pakistan as a separate Muslim state. The Congress Party initially mocked and later vehemently rejected the idea of Pakistan. But it sparked the Muslims' imaginations. Numerous powerful Hindus, including Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, were pitted against Jinnah. Additionally, it appeared that the British government was committed to upholding the political stability of the Indian subcontinent. But because of the competence and perseverance with which Jinnah guided his campaign, the Congress Party and the British government were ultimately forced to accept the division of India. Pakistan became a sovereign nation as a result in 1947. Jinnah became the first head of the new state, Pakistan. Faced with the serious problems of a young country, he tackled Pakistan's problems with authority. He was not regarded as merely the Governor-General. He was revered as the father of the nation. Jinnah spent last days of his life at Ziyarat, a city in Balochistan province, Pakistan. He died on September 11, 1948. He rests in peace at the place of his birth, Karachi. A magnificent tomb has been built by the government of Pakistan as a sign to pay tribute to the father of a nation. Jinnah devoted his life to Muslims of India and earned them freedom. Here are some of his famous quotes. "I do not believe in taking the right decision, I take a decision and make it right. With faith, discipline and selfless devotion to duty, there is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve. There are two powers in the world, one is the sword and the other is the pen. There is a great competition and rivalry between the two. There is a third power stronger than both, that of the women. No nation can rise to the height of glory unless your women are side by side with you. Think 100 times before you take a decision, but once that decision is taken, stand by it as one man. There is no power on earth that can undo Pakistan.